live from training.tv. My name is Margaret. I'll be your broadcast engineer for today. Hey, Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing good, thank you.
So let's talk about this week. This week we're doing a mini series with Nick. We're doing loops. Loops are really complicated. Well, they're not necessarily complicated, but they can feel complicated sometimes. So Nick is here to chat about them, all of his tricks with them. Okay, if you'd like to support the channel, I certainly appreciate, or great, well, no, hold on, I'm not going to hit the reload. We would greatly appreciate it. Uh, we have a lot of options here. We do the live streams for free 5 days a week, pretty much every day unless there's some major holiday happening. Since we're based in the U.S., we tend to go off of U.S. holidays. But every once in a while, I get someone that pops in and goes like, "Hey, Margaret, this live stream thing really doesn't work for me." In that case, if you still want to learn FileMaker, I highly recommend that you pick up one of our subscription bundles. They're all very edited, very precise videos that pretty much take you from like complete beginner to well into intermediate territory for FileMaker. You can definitely make your own databases after going through and learning these video courses. There's a wide variety of options. Study which one works for you and feel free to pick it up. Also helps keep the free side of things running, which allows us to tackle a lot of more obscure topics that we wouldn't be able to really put into a course, and also rehash things in a live environment for people who like, to ask questions and interact with the professor of, of a kind. So, with that all being said, I'm happy to hand it over to you, Nick. How we doing, Nick?
Thank you for the introduction, as usual. And today we do first day, so there's 3 days for that, right? So it's a little bit. We are going to stretch a little bit this topic of loop in FileMaker, but not only we're going to talk about loop and discover what loop is, and explore all the possibility here, how to use them, when to use them, but also when not to use them. Okay. So sometimes we use loop and it's not the right way. Okay. We think it's the right way, but it's not. Okay. There's many other ways we can avoid looping, right? And I have one case scenario in mind where looping is used, and to me, it's like it's sometimes we think we use something simpler, but in fact, it's way more complicated than using the right way, right? So so the loop. So what the loop? Okay, it's a script step. Two, actually three. Okay, together. Okay, to work, we need 3 steps, and this is slow. Okay, it's a slow process. It's not fast. Okay, pretty much loop will replace a human being and doing click, 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 doing things, right? That's what it's doing. What the loop doing? It's not a fast process. It's not a process that runs in memory or stuff like that. No, it's not. Right. That's why sometimes it's good to use while instead of loop. Okay. Because while, the while function, we have a Marge, maybe we have a
We do. I can find it.
yeah, a while. Because in the while webinar, I'm making a demonstration of how to replace what we do in loops with the while function, right? What you need to know is something. It's very important. Okay, when you work on the scripts on the script, when you run a script, the time measurement is millisecond. Okay, when you are in the schema, that means when you are in a calc and relationship algorithm, something like this, you are in microseconds, not millisecond, right? So it's a millionth of a second, not a thousandth of a second, right? So that's something you need to know. So every time you're in the scripts, you are in the slower area of FileMaker, right? So yes, of course, we do scripts. I do script, you do script, everybody do script, but everything doesn't have to be in the scripts. Okay. So loop is great for things, very specific, but most of the time, you have to think about, do I want to do that? Okay. It's the last resort. Loops should be used as your last resort, not like, oh, I'm doing a loop. No. Think if there's another way. What is a loop? So first, let's do something, uh, loop. A simple loop. Okay. Loop. Okay. So loop comes with two script steps, the beginning and the end. Okay, it's like the if, it's like the if. If is coming with if and if. Loop is coming from with loop and end loop. Okay. But so the loop is, so let's say I'm going to create a loop table, right? And I'm going to create this. Okay. So I'm in the loop table here. And I said, I want to create record. So new record. Okay. Right. So I'm doing this. I'm going to do a new record. So what happened in the loop? You do new record, new record, new record, new record, new record, new record. So it's going to create new records until forever, until your server crash and your the hard drive of your server is full and you reach like happened to me, like so many records in one table that the file crashed and I had to go back to during like 4 days it was creating records, right? Because of a loop like this. So we call that a while loop. Okay. When you do that, there's no other way than to kill, right? You need to kill this. So what's important to know here, we need a way to get out of the loop, right? So we have a built-in, so let's say I want to do something in the loop, right? Uh, uh, for example, I don't know, um, record number. Okay. Record number, the number, right? So this is just a demo, right? It's not saying that's something we do, but it's just for the demonstration. I want to go to the first record, right? Start a loop to say set fields record number with get record number. And then go to the next record, right? And repeat the loop. And here we have a built-in exit loop. So I know that, it's not explicit enough. They said exit after last, right? But it's not for the newbies or the beginners. This doesn't mean anything. It's exit loop after last. So you say on, right? So when you say when you have a loop and you have the go to record next involved, right? You have a built-in exit loop on. Other, previous and next, you have an exit. But if you do last, you don't have it. First, you don't have it, and neither by calculation, right? You have only, right, if you, what's the name? Only if you say go to record next, and previous, right? You have the built-in loop exit. So let's see what happened when I run that script, okay? So I have this. So he set the field, he go to the next, see here, I'm going to the next, go to the next, go to the next, go to the next, go to the next, next, like this, right? Until he reached the end. And then what happened here? He said, I want to go to the next, but there's no next. So he exit the loop and the script done, right? So this is one way to stop the loop, right? But only when there's a next, when there's a go to record next involved, next or previous involved. Okay. Right? Do we have any questions so far? Or everything explicit enough?
Not at the moment. Someone was
Okay.
mentioning the fact that loop is a script step and the while function is for the calculation engine.
Yes, but if you watch the webinar about the while function, I will show you how you replace a loop with a while, right? And get everything like 1,000 times, million times faster. Okay. I will come back. You know, we have time for this webinar, so I took 3 days to make sure that we have time to talk about all of this. Okay.
Yes, we can revisit that at a later point if you want.
Yes, exactly. But if you send the webinar, the link to the webinar on the while function, I do the opposite.
Mm-hmm.
I start with a loop on the script and then I replace by a while. Okay. So okay. So this is the first way to stop a loop. Stopping a loop is crucial. It cannot, if it fails, you are doomed. Okay, doomed. Next way to exit the loop, well, we have an exit loop script step. That doesn't come automatically. In my opinion, it should. I don't know what you think about. When you do this, it comes with loop and end loop. But this doesn't come automatically. Well, it should have done this. They should have done exit, right? But I don't know. It's my opinion. Because yes, back in the day, the go to record next and that was the most case scenario, but today it's not. That is not the most case scenario. Okay. So exit loop when, exit loop if, right? Well, if something, for example, if gets record number equal 10. Okay. So I go to the first, I initiate the loop, and when I come, the record number is 10, it stops. So let's do this. Oh, sorry. Go to record. Go to record next. I don't put here the exit off on because I don't want to reach the last. I want to exit loop when record number is 10. Okay. So you go to the next, go to the next. Oh, well, so I got the force quit. Yeah, it's the FileMaker. I noticed that there's some problem when on the local files. When I run local file like this, I have some stuff. I don't know if it's my computer, but it happened. It's okay. So we're there, and we can go back here. Okay, where we were. So we go to the first record, go to next. When we arrive at the record number 10. So when we will arrive at another, right, 9. So I'm 9, right? So the next loop, what happened? Go to next, right? And then exit loop. Boom, right? When you reach, because I reached the calc. Say, okay, exit loop when 10, right? So here it can be anything. It's a calc, can be anything. Can be, let's say, something like this, right? I'll show you. Um, uh, let's say this, right? So when left of ID loop, right? The free first character equal this, for example, right? So I go there, I do the loop, right? And when we reach the BC here, right? Boom. It can be anything until this is valid, until you're sure this will actually exit the loop, right? You need this is very important. The crucial, the problem on the loop is how to end it, right? This should be like this, by the way. Not like this. So I have an experience with loop. I have good and bad experience with loop, right? So I have a technique for you, to prevent that, to have problems. Okay, you always put a loop, an exit loop, with something that you can use like an airbag or like a safety net, right? Something that say, oh yeah, if you reach that, like for example, if you reach you know a way, so you need to find a way to say, okay, if you reach a limit, to put a limit, right? So I have many examples I'm going to show you, but always I'm putting an exit loop if I exceed, right? For example, if I expect the loop not to be more than 1,000, for example, well, I said if we reach 2,000, exit. That means something wrong, right? But that prevents the never ending. That prevents, like it happened to me during 4 days. It was creating records and crash and burn, right? That to prevent this. Loop is dangerous if you do this, if you don't have a safety net. It's like driving a car without, like in the 60s, right? Driving a car without seat belt is the same thing, or without airbags. So be careful with this. The problem on the loop, the big problem you will have is always to exit it and to be successful on exiting it. But there's ways we can do that. So now I want to do something here, right? I have contacts here, okay? I have contacts, and I want to create a record for each department. So I want to create a table where I will list all the department I have here, right? But with one record for each of them. So one record for customer service, one for finance, right? But I want all of them. So I'm not going to do copy paste and do it manually, right? I want to do it right? Using a loop, right? So, so this is medium loop, okay? That's the medium level of a loop. So I don't need this, right? But I want to set a variable. And this variable, I'm going to say list of departments. So I have here that the list of all the departments that the summary field is giving me, right? So here, this is the list of departments. But I want one for each, right? We have a function for that, name unique value. And this will clean up the mess. Now, I have one value for each. This is all my departments. Correct? Well, now, I want to create a loop. So I want to gather this, right? Go to the layouts, departments, right? I have a nice layout department here, which is currently empty, right? I want to go to that layout, right? And then do the loop. Create one record for each department this list will give me. So how we do that? Well, each loop, right? I need to be able to count them, right? So how we count a loop, right? Like this. Set variable, counter, right? And then we say, each time the loop comes, define the variable with itself plus 1. So what this do? So let's do this on only for now. So what this do? Here, counter 1, that's the first loop. Then second, third, fourth, 5, 6, 7, boom, 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 boom. Each time a loop comes, I have a counter, plus 1, plus 1, plus 1. And when the script goes, the counter go, right? So now, I can say, well, the first loop, set a variable, right? And you say current departments. The T is better. And what that will be, right? So let me explain. I have a list, right, of Nick, Marge, Scott, right? And I want to get the value of this. I want the first value, the second, the third. But imagine that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, it's the counter. Well, the first loop will take Nick, the second loop will take Marge, and the third loop will take Scott. So this variable, what will be this variable? Will be, well, whatever in my list of departments, get the value of my list of departments and with the counter. So each loop will say, okay, loop 1, go there, take the first in the list, right? And get it, right? So let's try. I don't need that for now. So I'm here. Right? So I get my list of departments. So accounting, advertising, and asset management. Okay. I have my counter and my current department. So now you know why I'm using variables, because look, everything there. I can debug everything there, right? I have my list of department, I have my counter, and I have my current departments, right? If I do the next one, the next loop, counter 2, and the second will be advertising. Now, the third will be asset management, right? Third, asset management, etc., etc. So counter is going to help me to suck in from the list of values one by one, right? Okay. So, but that's okay. That good. Okay. But now what I'm doing with this, okay? So remember I said I want to go to that layout. So I'm going to that department layout, right? And I want to create a new record, set fields, department with, well, my current department. The result of this, right? So let's do it. I'm going there, right? Gathering my list, go to the departments, set the counter, get the first, new record, set fields. New record, set field, 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 etc. Well, but now I will arrive at the end, but it will never stop. So how we stop this? Right. Well, let's delete all this. Well, it's very simple. Here, I have a list of items, correct? What I need to do to set another variable, I name value count. So why I'm naming this is because I want to value count my list of departments. So this will tell me, okay, this is my list and this is how much I have. Well, I have 15 in my department. Let's assume this 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15, right? So I have 15 records in this variable, right? Well, so you got it. This loop needs to run 15 times, right? Well, now I have a counter for each loop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So now you get it. I'm exiting the loop if the counter equal the value count. When counter is 15, this will be valid. Counter equal value counts. That means if counter is 1 is not equal to 15. 2, 3, 4 until 15. And then we say, okay, I get the 15th. I'm getting the last department. I'm creating the record. I'm setting the field, and then boom, sayonara. So let's see if it works. Value count. So, so let's, we go to the department, flush. Okay, so I have everything. 15, counter 1, current department accounting, and from my list. So I do, and I continue, right? Continue. So I'm going to do that 15 times. And so now I have 8, 9. So when I will reach, so I'm 12, 13, 14, right? Now I have 15, right? Counter, value count. Is counter equal value count? Yes, right? So now what I expect, create a record, set the field, and then boom, right? This is how you count the loop and you exit it in a very clean manner. Do we have any questions so far?
Loop has a new parameter, flush always minimum deferred. You know
I
what
will,
that means?
don't worry about this. I will explain this at the end. For now, I will explain this.
Got it.
It's fuzzy. It's fuzzy, it's voodoo, it's even at FileMaker, they don't even know why they did that. I mean, so one day a guy woke up and I can see where it can be but when you touch this, right? Only if you are very advanced, right? Otherwise, I don't see the benefit of this. But it's my opinion. I will explain in detail, right? I will explain what that happened. Why that happened? It's the same as this. Okay. Who ever knew about this?
I
I mean, the
I've
flushing.
never
Where's the
clicked that.
flush? Where's where we have the? No, it's not on commit. Where we have a flush. Don't remember. There's another one where we have a flush. No. There's one we have a flush. It can be sometime. I will explain that at the end. So, I'm going to explain to you the best practice in the loop. This is definitely not a good practice. It is not, right? Because you go away from where you were. I was there, and then I come here. And this is, it's not a good way. This is a good way. You create a new window, you go where you want to go, you do your loop, and you close it. That's the good way. Why? Because it's super clean, right? So let's flush this. Boom. You do this, you do your stuff, you collect your information, you have a new window, you do your stuff, and you go away. You understand? This is how you manage the loop, right? Instead of going to the leaving the layout where you were, right? And right, and then come back. You run the loop in a window. It's much cleaner. It will help you on complex loop because this is a simple, this is a medium loop. We have loop much more complex than this. Okay, that will be for tomorrow, right? So the complex loop is when you have embedded loops. Okay, 2, 3, 4. The most I've done in my life in the loop was 15 levels of loops, right? 15 loops within loops, right? It was necessary to do that way. It was working fine until I discovered that when you create a new window, right, it saves your butt completely. It saves it, right? So this was, so it works for many things, right? So now I have my departments, right? I want to do the same for the cities, right? So it's same thing, right? So this is the cities, right? That was for the departments, right? Well, since here we have a matrix here, and that's why this is the right way to write things, right? So you go there and you have the list of cities, right? I want the list of cities, value counts, list of cities, right? I'm going to the layout cities, and I change this to cities, and set city with the current city, right? And that's it. So let's assume it. So I'm going to the city, to the contacts, right? And new window, new request, city, etc., etc. So how many cities I have? I have 206 cities, right? So I have a break here. I'm running that until reaching the 206. 206 is stopped. I have my cities, right? And then I close the window and boom, right? So this is how you do. So I've now extracted my list of department and my list of cities, correct? Right? So now, what can I do with a loop, right? So let's say I want to export, right? So I want to export something from a font set. So this is something I'm doing often when I want to go somewhere and I want to export, for example, all the contact from one city in one file, and then export another other contact for another city. So let's start by department first, right? So I want to export all my human resources people, right? I want to search them. I want to sort them by first and last, and I want to export that list, right? In a CSV, whatever. I need a loop for that, right? So I need to go to all. So it's a little bit the same, right? So it's in intermediate loop. So export by departments. Okay. So the same way, I am getting the list of departments, right? Then I'm counting the loop, how many departments I have. It's important because this will stop the loop. I don't really need to create a new window because I'm staying in that thing here, right? And then I want to export this, okay? But I will do the loop, I have the counter, I'm getting the current departments. And here, this is where I change. I want to perform find, right? And I want to here look for this. In a perform find dialog, you can use a variable. So if you do this and you search for this in a department, it will search for whatever inside the variable, right? I don't know if you knew that. I know some people won't know that. Who doesn't know about that in the audience?
I
That
was
you can,
aware of this.
huh?
I said I didn't know that you could do this.
Oh, you didn't know. Really? Huh, interesting. So who didn't know about this? Don't
People
be ashamed. Don't be shy.
they are
Okay.
being shy, so
So people, okay. Or maybe everybody knew about it. So yes, so that's the reason why also I'm using variable for those things because I can use them here. I can use them in many places. So I perform the find. I sort the record first and last, right? And then I said set a variable to create a path to export the file, right? So if you go, maybe you can, let me go and custom function. Where are my custom function? Custom function. Why it doesn't find it? I did a, yeah, it's there. Okay. So I have my custom function here. So this file, I can give it to you if you want, but you should have it. And here I have a custom function that name file prefix, right? So why this custom function? It's because we need to export, depending on the platform, FileMaker, FileWin, or File, depending where you are, okay? So I have a custom function that do that for me. Otherwise, it's complicated, right? So I want my file prefix, and I want to put that in a desktop, and the name of the file will be contacts underscore and the current departments and .csv, right? So that will create the name. The name where this is FileMaker, FileWin, whatever. The desktop, the path, the name using the department I'm in. Contacts, department. Okay. And then I say export record, where using the path, and it's a CSV, right? And what do I want to export? Well, first, last, city, department. But department I don't need. First, last, city, because it's by department, right? So it's going to do that, right? So let's do it. So let's current department, perform find, sort, boom, 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 right? And I don't need a close window because, So my counts. So normally I will have my 15 departments. Why? Oh, why list of departments? Why didn't count it? Why said, oh, yeah, yeah. Sorry for that. I need to show all. Yeah. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
oh, okay. I was like, what happened?
Yeah, yeah. What happened? Yeah. So, okay. So now 15. Okay, I have my 15. Yeah, I can still show this here. The counter, the departments, the current one, right? I'm performing restore. I found it. So now you know why I have those variable, because it's cool. You can see everything, right? Anyway, but we need them anyway to do that. We sort. I'm setting the path. So see, I have a very clean path. FileMaker, Macintosh, blah, 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 right? Contact, legal department CSV, legal department of my contacts. I export the contents, right? And then I continue. So it goes there, perform fine, boom. Now it's finance, right? And here, finance, exports, right? So if I go to my, here I have the legal, I have the legal departments, the finance, right? So it's creating it's creating files, right? So I can continue this, right? Export, right? Continue, etc., until I reach the 15. So I can continue. Boom. And now I have my 15 here, right? Correct? So this is another way we use, right? The we use this. So let's say now, right? I want, so question or not?
Nope, you're good.
Okay. So another way, now I want to show you how to replace, how not to use loops for something. Who want to duplicate, right? Who want to duplicate the records, for example. Duplicate a bunch of records to assign them to something else. Let's say, for example, I want to get all the customer service contacts, okay? I want to gather them, duplicate them all, and put them in a new department, right? Like development. All those people, I want to duplicate them and put them in a new department. How you do that? Go. Question. How you will do that?
Ed is saying
Nobody
it's
answered.
no clue.
Okay, the best, okay, the most, here how you will do that, okay?
Mm.
You know, so let's duplicate this, right? You found set, you do a loop, right? And then you don't even need that. And you say duplicates the record, set fields, departments with, right? Go to next and on. That we do, right? So let's do it. We go to first, go to record first, right? And those 644 people, I want to duplicate them to another. So you do that. Boom. You go to the first, you duplicate the first, and you set developments. You go to next, you duplicate developments. Next, duplicate development. Next, duplicate development. Next, duplicate development. Okay, so let's do this. Right? So he's doing the job, but you see the time, and I'm in local. I'm not on server. Okay? I'm on my hard drive, 600 people. So imagine you have 1 million people. You go, okay, we can go take a nap, a couple of hours, right? So now I have my dev people, right? So, yeah, I want only the dev. Uh, what's the name is dev, like this. Ah, okay. My 600 people development. I'm going to delete those people. So this is slow. It's cool. It works, you know? So it works perfectly, but extremely slow. So duplicates departments, bad. And how to replace this? Good. No loops. Actually, I can take this path and export, right? So the path will be a little bit different, will be the temporary path, temporary folder. It's a folder in the system that is getting flushed when you quit FileMaker, right? So I don't need this. You set the path, you export your record, right? You export this, you import this, same path. So just want to make sure that it's a CSV, yes? And I'm importing the file, right? So when you do this, to import the file, I need to map the file, right? But I know what it is. It's this, but I don't need this, right? So I'm import the first, last entity, right? That's what I want.
Mm-hmm.
And when I import this, I replace the departments with, right? So remember how long it took to do that, right? And this I want to do because I don't really care. I don't care about the name of the file. So typically, when I don't care about the name, I just need to name it. I use this technique. I'm naming the file with a UUID, right? Then I don't care. It will be a new name all the time. UUID, you know. So I'm going to the temporary file, and the name is UUID and CSV. Okay. So now let's do it. Don't export, import, replace, right? And I did that on 10,000. So I replaced 10,000 people, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's do. I want to replace my legal department, 692, right? And I want to duplicate them using this technique. So look how long it takes, okay? They're there.
That's insane. I mean, that was like instant.
It's instant. Okay, so, and I mean local. So if I want to do, so now, demonstration using the loop technique, right? Do the same. Yeah, but I was in the churn. No, it didn't do it. It didn't do it. It didn't do it because record missing. What happened? Uh, what happened here? Duplicate record. It said record. Go to next. Oh, I mean the last one. Sorry for that. So it did two. Yeah. Okay. So let's delete this. I was on the last, but I said go to the first. That's funny. Okay. I'm here. That's funny. It just do one. Ah, okay. So let's see what happened here. Go to first, loop, duplicates. Oh, it's because it's sorted. Okay, so that's another problem. The list is sorted, so it's putting that at the end. So this doesn't work. You see, it's a nightmare. I mean, it's not a good, but I want to make it working. They are sorted, or they are not sorted. That's why they're not sorted. They need to be sorted to work. Otherwise, it duplicate at the end, something like this. Okay, let me do this. Okay. So this one, let's delete them. Sorts. Okay, so now it will work. Yeah, see, it's sorted. If it's not sorted, it put the duplication at the end, and then boom, we're gone because it's at the end. You understand? So let's fix this. So let's put the sort to make sure that people using that sample file won't have this problem. So I'm sorting the record. I'm going to the first. Okay. So let's do this. Right? Go. So 692, right? So it's not insanely slow, but it's not instant. So, and it was on 600 people, right? And now I don't even have the way to know which, I need to retrieve them, right? You know what I mean? So I need to retrieve them. So it's not as clean as the other technique, you know? It is not, right? So if I want to do that on 10,000 people using that technique, right? Let's do this. I'm local. When I told you that loops are slow, right? So that's a good example of something when you want to use a loop, think about it. You might have another way, right? And for this type of duplication and stuff, when I want to duplicate one record, yes, I'm using duplicate. I'm not going to export one record and import one record. Doesn't make any sense. But if you have more than 10 records, don't duplicate records that way in a loop. Export, import, and you duplicate them. And if you do that on server, it's more than instant. It's done before you even started. See, I'm at the half, right? And I repeat myself, I am local. I'm not on server. I am on my hard drive, and it's there. It reached the end. Look how slow is this, right? You understand? So let's stop it. Okay. So I think the demonstration is okay.
You've
Right?
made your point. Yep.
Yeah, I made my point. Okay. Right. So I'm going to. It did 3,500 record out of 10,000. Okay. When this technique, boom, done. There. See, I duplicate 10,000. Right. So sometime, right, the export import, right, it's a great technique. You know, sometime, for example, you want to create 10,000 records. Let's say you want to create empty records, right? Sometime you want to do that. You know, you want to create empty records. You know, so I have a table with, let's say, 10,000 or 100,000 empty records, right? I'm going to do the demo tomorrow. And I said I want to create 1,000 records empty. I have a table with 10,000 or 100,000 records. So I'm selecting 1,000 record of empty record. I'm exporting them, right? And I'm importing them. So I'm creating 1,000 record, 10,000 record in instant without using loops, right? So tomorrow I'm going to do that technique. It's very cool, by the way. You know, it's very, very cool to use the export import stuff. I'm using that a lot, you know, import export, because it's much, much, much faster.
Mm-hmm.
Sometime also, you know, you want to move a record from one table to another. You know, I mean, to make things like this, and you immediately think loops. You say, okay, oh yeah, I'm going to get that record, copy you know, set the field or in variable, right? And then, you know, so it's insane. So tomorrow we do this thing like this. We're going to move things from one table to another, and we are going to have some multiple loops, embedded loops, right? So, and I'm going to show you that tomorrow.
Works for me. That'll be awesome. Thank you, Nick. A lot of people are saying thank you. This has been extremely illuminating, I think is the word I'm looking for. Okay. I will see you tomorrow. I'll see all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.